Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel today, and we are going to be jumping into Mistborn Era 2 in our review and introduction of these books. And we begin with Mistborn, The Alloy of Law. I love these newer edition covers, and they're very consistent between Mistborn Era 1 and Mistborn Era 2. And you've got the main character here, which would be Wax, and his mist cloak jumping through. And pretty much where this is going to take place is on Scadrial, the same planet, but it's going to be 341 years after the events of Mistborn, the Hero of Ages. So everything that's happened in that original trilogy is grown into legend, into myth, and into religion. And you actually have people who are adherents now of following Kelsier, the survivor. You have people that are following Sazed, who is now ascended to become the god Harmony, who is both preservation and ruin. And that's going to come into the story in a very real way. Well, we come into the initial story by being introduced to our pretty much two main characters. And Wax is a lawman from the Roughs, which is a town nearby, not too nearby, Ellendale, the main capital. And we really come into the book and there's a tragedy. Wax witnesses the death of the woman that he loves. And that really throws him. It really throws him into a really dark place, and he sort of is escaping that by being in the Roughs until he gets news that his uncle has died, and he is called back to Ellendale, the capital of obviously the basin area is what it's going to be called, and he is going to have to return to his house, House Ladrian, and assume the role of the lord of the house. So he does begrudgingly and begins to sort of get acclimated to those responsibilities. Before too long, his best friend and partner in trouble and everything else that you can possibly imagine, Wayne, arrives, and his job, he feels, is to shake Wax out of the funk. And so he brings him news that there is a mystery. There is a robbery that has taken place. And he thinks that he and Wax should go and investigate. Like I said earlier, Wax was a lawman in the Roughs. And thinking like the Wild Wild West, that is exactly what you need to be thinking of. Wax is a cowboy in the truest sense of the word, so much so that he has a lot of issues adjusting to normal life and the life of a lord of the house. Well, Wayne's going to convince him, and before too long, they're going to be hot on the trail of a group that are called the Vanishers. And they begin to notice things that the Vanishers are robbing, the things that they are stealing, and specifically Wax is going to begin to piece together the things that they're not stealing, and that's going to lead them to a party one night. Well, there's some other things that are happening as well during this time, and there's some other characters. One of them is Steris, and Steris is, again, she is the eldest daughter of another family that are very, very wealthy, and the Harms is essentially their family, and Jackstum Harms is trying to find a husband for his eldest daughter, Steris. The thing that you're going to come to know about Steris is that she is extremely prepared, and it makes a lot of sense that this loner, essentially single Wax would be perfect for his daughter, because he's single, she's single, he is just recently come into this position. Steris could help him adjust. Again, she's very organized, she's very detail oriented, and so how about we have them get married? And you find this first conversation between Wax and Steris is just hysterical because Steris, in order to be prepared, has written up a contract of what their marriage is going to look like. And Wax is just absolutely, he doesn't know how to respond to this. Again, you'll remember at the beginning, he watched his, the love of his life, Lessie was her name, die right in front of him. And so he still is sort of emotionally not even in this conversation. And to see it just be handled so structured, he's very put off by it and just knows that it's probably the right thing to do financially because the Harms family are very, very wealthy, and he knows that that's going to help his house remain solvent. However, he's really struggling. Well, they're going to meet one other character, and Marcy is going to be her name. And we're going to come to find out that Marcy, though she has been raised and pretended to be Steris's cousin, is actually Steris's illegitimate sister. Jackstam Harms is her father, and Marcy has had to grow in the shadow of her sister and really not been allowed to receive any opportunities because of her father's poor decisions. And so she is going to get connected to Wax and Wayne and sort of become the third member of this group. She has aspirations of becoming a constable. And when she's able to finally meet Wax, Waxilium Ladrius is his full name. Waxilium, what a name. Though Marcy was able to go to college, she was able to study at university, it was always under the guise of not her true self. And one of the things that she studied in this desire to become some type of law enforcement was an entire class all on the life legend of Waxilium. And so when she meets him, I mean, she is starstruck. Well, pretty much all together, those three, Wax, Wayne, and Marcy, Steris is sort of sidelined in this story because she's still kind of putting together all of these details of what this upcoming wedding is going to be that Wax continually tries to push off. And Wayne is trying to just keep dragging him back into the fight. They become aware that one of the leaders of the Vanishers is an old Ruff's lawman partner of Wax and Wayne. His name is Miles, and his nickname is Miles 100 Lives. The magic system in Mistborn Era 2 is the same as it was in Mistborn Era 1. There is ferrochemy, there is allomancy, and there is hemalurgy. However, time has gone and such that certain specific people are what they call twin-born, and they have one allomantic power and one ferrochemical power, which is super helpful and super interesting. Wax and Wayne are both twin-born. And so is this sort of villain, Miles 100 Lives. And one of the things about Miles is that his ferrochemical ability is so strong that, again, he can store and compound extra healing in his ferrochemical metals. And so almost impossible to die. And he has so many ferrochemical metals literally stuck into his body in different places that you probably can't even find them all because they've been surgically implanted into his body. And so he is just essentially unkillable. And Wax finds out that Miles is involved in these Vanishers who have begun capturing prominent, essentially ladies of houses. So very, very wealthy, well-connected females. And why? Why leave all of this apparent wealth and just focus on essentially these younger, very well-connected females? And so Wax and Wayne and Marcy, I've got to figure this out. That whole thing leads them to a formal house party, like Scadrial is known for. All the houses get together. There's a lot of networking between the lords and the ladies. And what should happen? But the Vanishers show up and are trying to rob the party that Wax, Wayne, and Marcy are at. And that's really going to set up the fulfillment of the plot of book 1. And so I'll leave my play-by-play there and encourage you to check it out. An incredible beginning for the next era of Mistborn. Mistborn Era 2, Book 1, The Alloy of Law. So let me know, have you read it? Immediate takeaways, would you prefer Era 1? Or does Era 2, that sort of Western, Wild Wild West feel, really kind of speak to you? Let me know, and we'll chat about it in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video.